Emisión.net.
Hello, welcome to Letter from England, broadcasting for AC Press and the Spanish Evangelical Alliance. My name is Jonathan Dawson, and I'd like to wish you a very happy 2008. Well, this new year is kicking off with lots of apologies. Martin Patino, one time diocesan Vicar-General under Cardinal Tarancón, says that recent comments by Ricardo Blázquez, Archbishop of Toledo, are insufficient as an apology for the role of the Catholic Church during and following the Spanish Civil War. Meanwhile, the bulk of the Spanish bishops have disowned the remarks of their chairman, insisting that the Catholic Church as such has issued no apology whatsoever. To apologise or not to apologise, that is the question. Well, Blázquez called Tarancón a providential figure as an instrument for reconciliation after Franco's death in 1975, and for his role in applying Vatican II in the Spanish Catholic Church. His work came after a 40-year alliance between the dictator and the Catholic Church in Spain. Yet Patino said Blázquez should have apologized for specific actions of the Church, rather than issuing a fairly general apology. Other critics of a negative reaction of the bishops point to the question of asking for forgiveness, the issue that it's a Christian characteristic, not to mention the lack of penitence on the part of the bishops. Episcopal spokesman Juan Antonio Martinez Camino says Blázquez's words have been taken out of context. And of course, Blázquez was not speaking in an official capacity. Camino, who's Archbishop of Seville, said the comments were merely Blázquez's personal opinion. Initially, some had detected, though, a glimmer of greater openness on the part of the Catholic hierarchy, because even if Blázquez were not speaking officially, as it were, he holds an official and, of course, very high office within the Church in Spain. And it appeared that he was offering an apology for the role of his church under General Franco. Camino has shut the door firmly on any interpretation which might suggest that such an apology has been issued. And when pressed on the matter, he insisted that Blázquez's comments be taken in the light of the whole of his speech at the recent Bishops' Conference. Camino himself preferred to go back to 1999, when, he claimed, the bishops had looked back in conciliatory terms. That year, they said forgiveness had been spoken of in the context of certain acts committed in the 1930s. And Camino, at a press conference, quoted from memory several paragraphs of that speech, almost word for word, which suggests that he had come prepared. He denied that the bishops were split on this issue, pointing to the unanimity with which they approved the motions before them, or did so at the recent conference. And one such was the agreement to celebrate every year on November the 6th, the Day of all the Spanish Saints and Beatified Martyrs of the 20th century. Well, the Vatican has recently granted this status to many of the Catholic clergy who died in the Spanish Civil War. Thus, instead of apologizing for their role in the war, the Spanish Catholic hierarchy prefers to celebrate the deaths of their own. Of course, only those who fell on one side of the conflict. Well, as we've commented in this column before, there doesn't really seem a huge amount to be gained by raking over the past and deciding what, if anything, needs apologizing for. Learn the lesson of history, yes. Try not to make the same mistakes again, but move on. And really, in secularist modern Spain, there would seem to be rather more pressing issues than apologies for what happened 60 or more years ago. However, many people still resent the role the Catholic Church played at the time. Evangelicals, of course, have great cause to regret and lament the persecution they suffered at the hands of the authorities and the Catholic Church, who, of course, in alliance all during that period. And that resentment carries over to the position which the Catholic Church still occupies, a privileged position they still occupy in many respects in Spanish society today. and perhaps the lack, if not of an outright official apology, of at least a regretful posture on the part of its leadership, will only do the Catholic Church more damage in the longer term, and will make politicians particularly perhaps less willing to allow some of the fiscal and social privileges the Catholic Church still enjoys to continue. Well, thank you for listening to Letter from England, broadcasting at emission.net. Goodbye.
Emisión.net